So yesterday's high tea start was Plum Street Samplers Yuletide Welcome, and as you can see, I have a teeny tiny little baby start, and I did decide to go 1/1. I had some great comments yesterday, and you know, I think I was leaning towards 1/1, and then both Long Dog Stitcher and Sharon Goforth both said definitely 1/1, go for it, and that was all the push that I needed. So this week's dye work, Oscar, this is not the called for thread for the border, but it is because actually in the pattern it calls for an NPI silk or a DMC 580, neither of which I have. So my WIP of the day today, this is going to be a little bit different today. My WIP of the day is dealing with an old WIP that I have finally decided to give up on, and that is His Eyes on the Sparrow. And I'm going to do a little video of that piece in a minute. I have talked about this before on my regular flosstube updates, but in case you haven't heard about that sort of debacle, then I will tell you all about it in just a few minutes. However, this Oscar week's dye work is from my collection of threads that I was using for His Eyes on the Sparrow. And I thought, well, I've got lots of that. Might as well use that. So that's going to be the color that I use for the border. I had another lovely comment from someone who told me, or not told me, she suggested that the color of the house might not show up on the fabric. So I think it's going to be okay. This is Grecian Gold. That's the color called for the house, and that's how it looks on the fabric. And I think that's going to show up just fine. However, you know, once I get started, if it doesn't, I can always rip it out and change it to a different color. But I really love that Grecian Gold. It's just such a rich gold color. So anyways, that's my progress, such as it is. It counts as yesterday's new start, Sunday high tea, yesterday's WIP, and today, because I'm also dealing with the other WIP, I might put in a few more stitches on this today, since technically this thread counts as a WIP, right? Because it was already started in a different project. Can we go with that? Sure, let's go with that. So here's the WIP that I'm dealing with today. This is my start from His Eyes on the Sparrow. And what happened was, I'm sure many of you have been in the same boat where for some reason your brain shuts down and you start in the wrong corner of the fabric. And so I did all of this stitching, did all of that beautiful stitching, and then realized that I had started in the wrong corner. So I do not have enough fabric width-wise to complete my design. There is no salvaging this. There is no fixing this. It's not like I would have 1/4 of an inch left on the side and I could sew some extra fabric to it. The stitching would actually run right off the edge of the fabric. So, you know, I was pretty disheartened by this. But yesterday, maybe it was yesterday or it was the day before, Letitia, the crafty curator, posted a photograph of her monkey, Cornelius. Now I call him Cornelius. I don't think that's the name of the pattern. It's a mandala monkey. It's gorgeous. And she realized that she had miscalculated her fabric size, and she also was not going to have enough room for Cornelius to fit on her fabric. So she immediately restarted, and she is going to turn her original stitching into a special, you know, a special finish, which I think is amazing. I am not restarting this. I have decided for once, this is the first time I'm actually doing this, because normally I love my projects, but there's something about this project that, and you know what I think it is? I know exactly what it is. It's that flower. It's that flower right there, which I love, but I really don't want to stitch it again. And I would have to stitch it again twice because it happens twice in this design. I just don't want to stitch it again. So I am going to cut this out of this gorgeous 40 count Newcastle linen in the flax colorway. You see, sometimes I actually know what I'm stitching on. I'm going to cut that out and I'm going to do something with it. I don't know what, but that's my decision for today, that I am not going to be stitching His Eyes on the Sparrow. So I am going to repurpose the thread from the border. I'm not picking it out and reusing it. What I mean is the stuff in the kit that I had kitted up, both the Oscar, and I have a funny feeling that the pomegranate is going to work as well for the little flowers in the border of a Yuletide welcome. And I'm going to use them in my other new design. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. All right, that's it for today. WIPMaynia day 28. Decision made. I will see you tomorrow. Happy stitching.